What's up, Raider Nation? Welcome to Taco-Bout Raiders Tuesday Live. I am your host, TRU Raider. It's a little cold, man. I just got home. It's kind of cold. Gotta stay warm up in here, man. Gotta stay warm up in here. See what's going on. Raider Ryan, one of the model Raiders. Salute. What's going on, man? Billy Davis. What's up, Raider Nation? True. I start my job on the 2nd. That is good news, man. That is good news. Been waiting to hear that from you, man. That's what's up, man. That is what's up. My 2 cents in the building. Salute. What's going on? So, man, got some of the regulars up in the building, man. That's what's up. I gotta say, big shout out to Billy. He's been sharing with us about his journey trying to, get this job going. Had a couple interviews, got selected. Congratulations to you, man. Congratulations. That's what's up. So there's like some weird stuff floating around, and I didn't realize that was what was about to pop off, man. I had a weird day at work. Tomorrow's my last day at my current job, man. And it's kind of like an emotional day, honestly, man. It's, first time I've ever left a job that I really, really like. And there's a lot of really good people there, man. So, it's a tough one, but, I wanted to bring up, man. And for those of you on TikTok, you're not going to be able to see. I apologize. But right now, let's see. I believe that's the click. Boom. And this is SI.com. It says sources, Raiders strongly considering poaching next head coach from the Browns. The Las Vegas Raiders are strongly considering poaching their next head coach from the Cleveland Browns. And this was an article that actually came out yesterday. And I didn't hear anything about it until today. So, after parting ways with the Tennessee Titans during the offseason following a successful head coaching stint in Nashville, Northeast Ohio native and former Ohio State star Mike Vrabel has been working for the Cleveland Browns this year in a consulting role. However, there is a very strong likelihood that Vrabel will get the chance to be a head coach again in 2025. Now, there seems to be a team that is highly interested in bringing Vrabel on board to be their next head coach. An NFL League source tells Browns on Sports Illustrated there's a strong sentiment in Las Vegas that Mike Vrabel would be Tom Brady's first choice to be the Raiders head coach in 2025. After Sunday's loss to Miami, Antonio Pierce has the Raiders off to their worst start since the 2018 in his first full season as their head coach. Pierce has maintained the support of the locker room in Las Vegas, but his chances of keeping the job appear to be shrinking by the week. Other sources across the league have indicated to Browns on SI that it would be wise for the Browns to move on from Kevin Stefanski and make Vrabel an offer now if they have any desire to keep him in Cleveland. Given that Cleveland plays Pittsburgh on Thursday night and then doesn't play another game until Monday, December 2nd in Denver, a move after Thursday's game would give a new coach maximum time in season to prepare for his first game leading the team. Should Cleveland move on from Stefanski, the Browns' job would be viewed as the worst situation a new head coach could inherit across the league. Meanwhile, the Raiders have roughly $100 million in cap space. I believe it's 108, a top pick in the draft, and a reasonably good defense that's been decimated by injuries this year. The league source also said nobody around the NFL blames Kevin Stefanski for Cleveland's debacle of a season, and the Stefanski could easily find another job this offseason. NFL insiders blame Browns ownership and Deshaun Watson's contract for handcuffing Stefanski. This is certainly an interesting development. Obviously, Cleveland will have a decision to make. So, they're talking about Cleveland and what's going on with them, right? Yeah, Joe Mama, 108 and a top draft pick. He's still gonna mess it up. I think that you're totally wrong on that, man. I think you're totally wrong. Let's see yeah, Broncos better take care of business, Chad, because we don't want to be winning any more games. We want that pick. That's what we want, man. Raider Ryan, nice jacket, brother. Hey, salute, man. Appreciate it. Let's see. Real quick. Gunsmoke up in the building, man. Gonna hit the store, be right back. That's what's up, man. So right now, it's a trip, right? It's a trip to be thinking about what that looks like, right? And Mike Vrabel, now for me, I'm gonna say straight up, man, I wasn't in a position where hold up, I gotta say that. Steve Jones, what does number 9 Tyree Wilson do for a living? You know what? I don't know, man. He hasn't got there yet. He's starting to look a little bit better, man, but definitely not worth where he was drafted. Let's see, Chemical Jumpist. Haven't watched since the Adams trade. I just wish we were told it was a rebuild. And that's exactly what's happening, right? And I don't think this is like a bare bones rebuild. What we're looking at, like, because we didn't sell at the trade deadline, right? Now, that doesn't mean that we won't go and be sellers during the offseason, but I think there's a high possibility that we retain most of the talent that we already have on the team, because we got a lot of good building blocks. We really, really do. If we go out there and we either get a new coach that's going to be calling plays, or if we're going to stick with Antonio Pierce, at least get a good offensive coordinator. And then, with one of these top picks that we're going to end up getting, then we go out and get a quarterback. All of a sudden, the whole dynamic of everything shifts, right? And the higher the pick, the better, right? Because if we end up with a top 3 pick, that means in every single round, we end up with a top 3 pick. We're going to end up with like 4 of the top 100 picks, as long as we don't mess up and start winning some games, right? And Tom Telesco proved this last offseason that he can go ahead and draft really well, right? Brock Bowers, breaking records as a rookie tight end. Jackson Powers Johnson is a beast. DJ Glaze ended up being starting right tackle, and he won the job, right, as a rookie. So, there's a lot of good things going on in there. And I started like thinking, like, do I really know that much about Mike Vrabel, right? And like, I don't, right? I'm gonna be straight up. I'm not that familiar with him, right? I'm not gonna try to pretend to be an expert, because I'm a Raiders fan, not a football expert. So I pulled up some of his stuff, and he coached the Titans from 2018 to 2023. During that time, winning season. I think they won 2 out of 3 playoff games. And then 2022, 7-10, 2023, 6-11. Now, the reason why it's so touted that maybe the Raiders are going to go for him is because he played on the New England Patriots with Tom Brady, right? And so since he played with Tom Brady, you know, basically they're saying that Tom Brady is going to make a push to go and get Mike Vrabel if we move on from Antonio Pierce. Now, that's not saying that we're not going to go ahead and keep Antonio Pierce, because right now Antonio Pierce stands a pretty good chance of keeping his job. There was like some reports that went out, and I don't think that they're really true, but there's some mutterings around the league that they're saying that basically Antonio Pierce looks so happy during losses and all that stuff because he knows he has a job next year and that it's already guaranteed. And if you look at Kano, salute to you for the follow. If you look at Mark Davis and the last several coaches, right? He paid John Gruden. We lost him. Paid Josh McDaniels. We got rid of him, right? And then he stayed paying these coaches or paid them outright, and he lost a lot of money with all this stuff. And so Herman, the way AP talks in his pressers, he acts like he has the job secured. And that's what I've been seeing too. But I do not think it's absolutely set in stone. because I've been saying it for a while that I think that AP is going to be the coach next year as long as there's not a better option. Like, and I kept saying Ben Johnson, right? If we end up with like the likes of a Ben Johnson, then all of a sudden we're in position where, okay, are we going to take like a Ben Johnson who's right now calling the offense for the Lions, or stick with AP and gamble on that? I would go with a Ben Johnson, right? But what I'm hearing is that it's not even an option, right? Is that right now there's really only two people that they're even considering. And things could change, right? We still got some time, but apparently right now it's between Antonio Pierce and Mike Vrabel. So right now, if you guys weren't in the driver's seat, right, and you could make the decision, who would you take? Would you take Antonio Pierce and run it back a second year? A lot of coaches have a losing season their first year. And if Antonio Pierce had his way, because he brought in Cliff Kingsbury and he wanted Jaden Daniels, but then Cliff Kingsbury finds out, oh, you can't get up to get Jaden Daniels, and he backed out, right? He didn't want to risk his career on a Gardner Minshew. And I get that. But if things had gone Antonio Pierce's way and we ended up with Jaden Daniels and Cliff Kingsbury, I mean, things are clicking over there for the Commanders, right? And so if that had happened, then Antonio Pierce would be looking a lot different right now. So do we actually give Antonio Pierce the opportunity to run it back a second year and, get a rookie quarterback and get a better offensive coordinator? Or would you rather just see us go ahead and move on from AP, say, you know what, we gave him his shot, it didn't look great, and move forward with Mike Vrabel? What would your opinion be? Billy Davis, AP all day, true. AP all day. All right. Let's see. Herman, top 3 pick for a QB would be appealing to Ben Johnson. Might be one of the only ways to get him. And that's another thing, right? Is that right now, basically it's like the writing is already on the wall, right? Where we're looking at Shedeur Sanders. And, I like Shedeur Sanders, right? But I keep looking at if Shedeur Sanders was in the draft last year with Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams, where would I rank him? I would probably rank him number 3 or 4. And the same with the draft the year before. I'm not convinced that Shedeur Sanders is that great, right? But would this team look a whole lot different with Shedeur Sanders? Yeah, definitely would. As long as we have a better play caller than Luke Getsy. Steve Jones, AP deserves another year. Couldn't get a QB, way too many injuries. We can't keep changing coaches. And Steve with the haymaker right now, right? Because that is a great point that you make right there, is that if we have that coaching carousel, then we have no ability to get that foundation really going, right? And the big debacle right now is, do we trust AP to develop Shedeur Sanders? And I don't know why that's the debacle, because AP is not the guy that is really going to be developing a quarterback. It's going to be Tom Brady. It's going to be whatever offensive coordinator we bring in, right? Unless we stick with the likes of a Scott Turner. This last game looked a lot better, right? Looked a lot better. And AP, Deion Sanders, Shedeur Sanders, like, they like AP. They do. Not to say that they wouldn't like Mike Vrabel or Ben Johnson, but they like AP. Tom Brady likes AP, but he also has a relationship with Mike Vrabel. So there's like a lot of toss-up going on. Christy, Cowboys will probably take him and make his dad the head coach. And I actually wouldn't doubt that. Right now, there's some weird coaching things going on with the Cowboys. Dak Prescott just got paid and he's looking cooked. All the Cowboys fans that I know personally are pissed that they paid Dak Prescott, and they can't wait to move on. Absolutely can't wait to move on. So, I mean, that is a possibility. That is something that could happen. It's finally warming up in this house, man. Got home from work, man, and it was pretty cold. Straight up. Let's see. Sergio, I think Gardner is our franchise QB. To be honest, we just never believe in him. Yeah, no, that's not a thing, man. That is not a thing. But there's also, I'm just messing around. I see that. Um, the thing that I see with that, man, is that Garner Minshew looked like crap under Luke Getsy, right? And I really think that, they gave him the nod to start moving forward now that Scott Turner is calling the plays, right? And I think that that's for a reason, right? Part of that is because, like, straight up, you got to evaluate it, right? You got to see, was it all on Luke Getsy, or did Gardner Minshew also suck? Gardner Minshew looked a whole lot better, right? I mean, stat wise, he was pretty even with Tua, except Tua threw more touchdowns and 0 picks. Gardner Minshew threw a pick there at the end of the game, which wasn't too surprising, and I'm not even sure it was exactly his fault. Honestly, it kind of looked like him and Jacoby Myers had a miscommunication. Um, Sergio, very true. I was expecting Colts Minshew, and he looked good against the Ravens, but after that, yeah. Um, and that's another thing, right? Raider Trout Joe, good evening. What's AOC's status? So Aiden O'Connell right now, he's on the injured reserve. He's got a broken thumb. He is going to be coming back in a couple weeks. And then there's going to be a whole debate, right? Is it his job, right? Is the job just go to him as soon as he's back? And I would say no, it's not going to be a given. I think that he's going to be having to come in and and show that he's healthy from that thumb injury, and that he's going to, have to win the job over Gardner Minshew. Now, Gardner Minshew over these next couple of weeks continues to fumble, continues to throw interceptions, and continues all that stuff. Then, yeah, I think O'Connell would walk in and just get it right away, man. Christy, I work for Nike, so I'm always on the sidelines at the Raiders game. That's what's up, man. That's what's up. If you hear any rumblings going on, I mean, give us a heads up, because where there's smoke, there's fire, right? And so when there's all that smoke and talk going around, even in circles around their circles and all that, all that stuff, it holds weight. It does. See, Raider Ryan, I don't believe in tanking. That being said, I'm a realist, and our team has not shown they are capable of winning consistently or at all for that matter. And Raider Ryan, for weeks, man, there's people on here saying we need a tank, we need a tank. And, Christy, yeah, offense was trash in training camp, and we got to see that immediately. And I have a feeling that that's why they didn't do any of the dual practices, right? There was something weird going on with that. And you could tell preseason that our offense was trash out the gate, but like, I don't think that we have to lose on purpose. Like, we don't have to tank on purpose because we suck, right? But a big one in that, man, is that at this point, I don't want to see us win, right? Because for weeks I was saying, no, no, no tank, no tank. I will never root for the Raiders to lose. And at this point, if I want the Raiders to win, I'm essentially rooting for us to lose, right? And by that, it's like, if we start winning some meaningless games right now and get pushed back on the draft, then all of a sudden we're not going to be able to secure the quarterback, right? We're not going to be able to get top of the round draft picks down the line, and we're going to just get stuck in mediocrity hell. I'm going to actually share this real quick, man, because if you guys have not ever checked it out, there's a site called Tankathon. And Tankathon will show you the current draft order moving into next year, right? And so right now, and for those of you on TikTok, I'm sharing on the screen. I can't share it up on here. I apologize, but pick number 1 currently as it stands, Jacksonville Jaguars. Pick number 2, Tennessee Titans. Pick number 3, Cleveland Browns. And it's very close between us and them. That's weird. This thing adjusted, and I don't know why, because it had us at pick 4. Because from my understanding, the Giants are picking behind us because of strength of schedule or something. But maybe it changed because of last night's game. I'll have to look into that. So, and then us at pick number 5. Damn, I got to look at that. it could be that they are actually picking in front of us. But the way that this thing is shaking out is that there's so many teams that have lost so many games already that it's going to be a battle to get one of those top 5 picks. Like on Sunday, if we had won against the Dolphins, we would have moved to like pick 11 or something like that at that time. And that's just ridiculous. I don't want to see us winning any of these meaningless games because right now, if we won out, we're probably still not going to make the playoffs. If we won every single game, and it's really unrealistic to expect that we would actually win every single game. I don't see that happening, man. My 2 cents, there's a place for AP with the Raiders, just not sure if it is a head coach. Seems Telesco given reins to build as he sees fit, and that negated AP's vision, in my honest opinion. And that's what I've seen too. That's what it really, really looks like. And you could tell that there was a point in the season where AP looked very confused, and it seemed like he didn't really understand what the hell's going on. And then all of a sudden, he's smiling again, right? And he's happy again. And it's almost like he got given the heads up of like, hey, you know what? We're blaming Getsy. It's all right. We are where we are, and we're gonna go ahead and just kind of lose out and get a good draft pick, right? And your job is safe. Though it could also be that he's smiling because he's not stressed about it so much anymore because he's like, what do we got to lose? Let's just finish off the season. Let's just do our thing, and then the chips will fall where they fall. Could be just that he has a lot of acceptance around the situation. Um, I don't see that AP would take a demotion, and like move back to linebackers coach or something like that. I don't think that. I think it would make things very uncomfortable in the locker room to do something like that. But I would love to see us stick with like have AP on our staff, even if we got a new coach. I would. I like him. I really do. Let's see. Got behind over here, man. Christy, I hope they lose every game. Real ones know. That's what's up. Doughboy Shador. Shador Sanders is probably who the Raiders are going for. I'm not entirely sold on him. I do like him. I do think he'll be a good fit. Brady connection, all those things. Mark Davis was even telling him at the Aces game there in Vegas that, like, hey, you might already be home. Like, there's a lot of smoke around this, right? And so there could be some truth behind it. And we're just gonna have to see how it plays out, man. See, Dino, there's no moral victories anymore. Yeah, I mean, can you imagine us finishing the season with like 6 wins? Eh, yeah, just messing up the draft for sure. Ramiro Garcia, let's see, Richardson or Goff? What are you talking about, Richardson or Goff? I mean, if you're talking about Anthony Richardson, I wanted him out of the draft, but I knew that there was going to be big issues, and he was not worth a number 3 overall pick because the arm talent isn't really there, and then it's obvious he's going to get injured. He was bigger than everybody in college, but that's not true in the NFL, and you can't run the ball like that as a quarterback in the NFL. Let's see, Herman, never seen a head coach stay on the team after they get fired. And I agree with that, man. And that's why I'm saying that I don't think it would be likely. It would be cool, but I think that that's just us Raider fans. Like, we love our people, right? And we don't want to see our people have to go out the door, even if they're fucking up. Like, oh shit, my bad. Even if they're all messing up, man, it's like we still have love for our people and want to have a place for them, but really that's not realistic. I see Ernest in the building. What's going on, man? How you doing? See, California Dave, I think we need a right side offensive line and a solid running game. Any QB would suck behind our line with no rushing at all. That 70-ish yards a game. And there's like some debate going on, right? Because there's been such a shuffle on the offensive line. And I think that we're on to something finally, right? Because we got Colton Miller is starting to look a lot better stat wise, and he's there on, he's coming back from that injury, and I think that he's starting to get in full shape again. And then Jordan Meredith, now that he's playing, is actually rated really, really high, and he's doing really, really good. And getting Andre James out of center was like the best thing that could ever happen to this offensive line. Jackson Powers Johnson is a beast at center. And then Dylan Parham was doing great before he got injured, and he just kind of came in this last game. And I haven't really gotten to take too good of a look. He passed the eye test initially, but I don't know. And then DJ Glaze as a rookie on right tackle was doing excellent, right? So I think that moving forward, if we also get a better offensive line coach, we did fire our offensive line coach. So I think that there's potential with the pieces that we have in place. I would love to see us get some better depth for sure. And if that depth ends up being somebody who replaces one of our starters, I'm not attached to any of them. They can go, right? They can go to the second string and let's get best man up, best man up. Let's see. Cali Custom Graphics. We can make oh dang, bro. I'm not even reading that. Herman, gonna have to look for Colton's replacement in the draft soon. And I've been saying, man, since last offseason that we should have moved on from Colton Miller while he still had value. Because at this point, I don't think he's worth very much. But even, if we could come up on a replacement, I think we need to, man. I think we need to. Do you know what free agent QB next year would you bring in? At this point, man, I don't even know who's the best free agents right now, man. Like I definitely wouldn't want to get rid of draft capital, bring in a veteran because some of the talks with Brady coming in as a minority owner is that he strongly believes that we're throwing quarterbacks out too quickly in the NFL and that they should sit for a year. And Dion is talking about, Shador Sanders sitting for a year. And so even if we draft Shador Sanders, we might not even play him next year. And I don't think Gardner Minshew's the veteran to teach him. So then who do we bring in, right? Like a Sam Darnold or like one of these or Winston. I don't really like any of the options right now, honestly. I mean, Sam Darnold is doing great over there with the Vikings, but I don't know, man. I don't know where I stand with that. Ernest, this organization has way too many top dogs, so it's obvious Brady is the bigger dog. So I expect Telesco handles draft and free agency with Brady's input. And that's exactly what's going to happen. There's already talk about that whoever is going to be the coach next year has to kind of take a step back for Brady's decision at quarterback, right? And they're being very specific that the quarterback is what Brady's going to focus on, and it seems like the rest is going to get left to Telesco, and so I definitely want to see that. And yeah, the following is picking up, man. I appreciate that, Ernest. I appreciate that. See, California Dave. I'm looking at Champ Kelly. A lot of piss poor QB decisions since he came on board. Champ Kelly. And Champ Kelly was already in the building when Telesco got here, and it's kind of weird. Telesco didn't get to choose his head coach. He didn't get to choose his assistant GM, and there's a lot of those kind of moves that I expect to kind of really shift. Because really, I honestly believe that Telesco got brought in, and he looks like he's got a lot of time, right? Because he wasn't urgent to go get a quarterback, so it looks like he laid it out for Mark Davis and said, "Look, I'm gonna put these kind of players in place. I'm gonna build here, here, and here, and then I'm gonna evaluate the staff, evaluate the players, and then we're gonna suck, and then we're gonna go get a quarterback and blah 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 blah." And I think that he laid it out because I don't think Tom Telesco's worried about his job in the slightest. Jesus, you think Shador tweeting "Thank God" after every loss legit or just coincidence? There's one thing that's going to really show the truth about that, Jesus, and that is the Black Friday game. If Shador Sanders says "Thank God" on Twitter after the Black Friday game, that's a wrap. We know what it is, man. We know what it is. um Chicano outlaw for life. A QB that can run is a big weapon, especially with the QB rules today. Yeah, they've made it to where essentially you can't even hit the QBs, man. It's really sucks to see, man. Because sometimes, man, those QBs use that to their advantage, and they make it look like they're gonna run out or slide, but then they keep running, and then if you hit them in that situation, you get a flag, and it's stupid, man. But you know, I like a QB that can run but doesn't. I want somebody that can run but chooses to throw every time over a run, right? And it's like, okay, if he runs, cool, right? I want somebody smart. That's the only thing that I was worried about with Jaden Daniels when we were looking at him during the offseason is that Jaden Daniels takes too many hits. You end up injured, right? Especially with that small frame. But that's one of the things I do like about Shedeur Sanders is he is quick. He can run, but he doesn't. If you look at his rushing yards, they're not there, man, because he's not playing stupid. He plays smart, and I like that. California Dave, here's a hypothetical question. If we have the number one overall pick, who you taking? Myself, I'm taking T Hunter. See, and that's a big one, right? Because I remember, there's a lot of talk about Malik Neighbors and Jaden Daniels, and people were saying Jaden Daniels isn't shit without Malik Neighbors and blah, 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 blah. But look where the Commanders are right now, and look at where the Giants are. So, really, if we took T Hunter, then we are committing to sucking again next year. Unless we're able to secure some veteran quarterback that we're convinced is going to be the guy moving forward, we'd be committing another year to sucking, right? And then how many of our veterans are going to lose in the process? And I don't necessarily think that we're in like a win now mode with this draft, but I think that we're not in a 4 or 5 year process. I think that we're more in like a 2-3 year process. So I like T Hunter, but you got to look at who's the quarterback that's throwing to him, who's the quarterback that's making that happen for him. Could that quarterback have pretty good production with a Brock Bowers, with a Michael Mayer, with a Jacoby Myers, right? Just saying. Tannehill back with Vrabel. I could see a scenario where they do that. I could see a scenario, Ernest, where they decide, you know what, we're going to go ahead and run with Mike Vrabel, bring in Mike Vrabel, and then get Tannehill, man, old ass Tannehill. Bring in Tannehill and say, all right, we're going to go ahead and have him be the veteran who's going to help groom Shedeur Sanders, right? And you know that Tom Brady's going to be in that. He's been doing that during the offseason and mentoring Shedeur Sanders and all this stuff, So, like, I don't know, man. I could definitely see a scenario where they do that, Ernest. I could definitely see that, man. Jeffrey, what's going on, man? Salute, salute. Glad you're here. See, I'm a little bit behind up here, man. Let me check it out. Let's see. Herman, Jesus, if he does it on Black Friday, yep. If he does it on Black Friday. Flacco, Chicano Outlaw, I don't know why we ended up getting Gardner Minshew and then the Colts got Flacco. Why would we do that? Why would we not just go with Joe Flacco? If we're looking for a bridge quarterback that can get it done, why not Flacco? Unless Gardner Minshew was part of the tank. Because honestly, what it looks like to me is that there has been an intentional tank going on from the get. And Antonio Pierce went up there and he hyped everything up and he made it look good, whether he knew or not. And I don't think that Antonio Pierce is clever enough to be that convincing. He was convinced that this defense is going to get it done and that our offense just has to be mid. And we're going to go out there and we're going to win. And then all of a sudden, the season started and Antonio Pierce started shrinking down like, oh, wait, what's going on here? And all of a sudden, He's not boastful. He's not talking all this trash anymore. And makes me believe that he didn't actually know that we were going to do that. Yeah, Lance. Definitely got to lose and draft a QB. Jose, bro, that's like getting Minshew again. We need youth at QB position. The only problem I see is that whatever quarterback we draft is probably not going to play right away. California Dave Hunter at corner who could play some offensive reps, and I mean, I would say if we end up in a position where we're picking number 4, number 5, and Cam Ward and Shador Sanders go off the table, get him. Go get Hunter, right? If you could not secure the quarterback this draft, go get Hunter and, maybe pull a Carson Beck or a Dart or somebody a little bit later, right? But yeah, there's no way I'd want Hunter over a QB though. We were not on the bridge QB. We went under the bridge, under the bridge QB, man. It's hilarious. Herman, kind of interested in what Telesco is going to do with a full offseason with one season under his belt. Telesco did an amazing job coming in right away. And that's where, McDaniels and Ziegler really messed up is that their first draft, they traded away their first and second round picks for Devontae Adams, right? And that seemed like a good move at the time, but it turned out to really didn't go anywhere. But then, picking Tyree Wilson the following, like they just totally messed up their draft. Telesco, I mean, he's killing it so far, right? And we're gonna have, as long as we don't start winning some games, we're gonna have 4 picks in the top 100. And I would love to see what he does with that, man. I would love to see it. Chicano Outlaw with the follow. Salute, man. Salute. Lance with the follow. Salute. That's what's up. Jesus, watch the Raiders win on the Black Friday game. I don't know why they didn't give us a Black Friday game last year. And honestly, they should give it to us every single year. I think it's ridiculous that they don't. Like, really, even if they put us to play the Steelers every year or something on Black Friday, like, cool, but I don't know, man. It's weird. Jeffrey, I'm really starting to think AP needs to get another year. I had the instability of the past 20 plus years. I don't know, fan for 48 years. Never have we been so dysfunctional. And like that coaching carousel, unless we move on from AP and land like an absolute, like, perfect coach for what we're doing, if we go out there and get rid of AP and end up with somebody stupid, I'm going to be pissed. That's too much instability, right? Now, if we did move on from AP and we pulled in Mike Vrabel, we pulled in Ben Johnson, and they go out there and kill it, okay, cool. But then we're going to be debating, right? Well, now that Luke Getsy's gone and now that we got a quarterback, like, well, AP would have done good too, right? But see, to me, I'm not attached to who the name is. I'm attached to getting winning seasons for this Raiders team. That's what I'm attached to, man. California Day, what you talking about? Historical lyrics, man. Yeah, Lance, can't take a wide receiver without a QB. And we did that already with Brock Bowers. And Brock Bowers is setting records as a rookie tight end. I think we do need to pick up a wide receiver in the draft, but we need somebody to throw him the ball too, man. Lance, what's your thoughts on possibly trading for Stafford? Um, if we got a veteran bridge quarterback, as long as we drafted a QB and didn't give up, I'd be willing to give up like a sixth for Matthew Stafford. He's old already. He's his career's done, right? That's the only way is if we gave up very, very minimal draft capital and then used him as the bridge quarterback to really help train our rookie QB. That's the only way I'd really feel comfortable with that. And honestly, if we had Matt Stafford instead of Garner Minshew, this season would have been a lot better. Straight up. Jesus, that Travis Hunter is talented, but looks like he'll be the biggest diva wide receiver ever. And that's like the fear with Shador Sanders too, man, is that we could end up with this huge diva, man. I don't think that Shador Sanders is as bad as Caleb Williams, and I think that he could be reeled in pretty good, but there's fear there, you know? See, Ernest, um, you talking about Tom Telesco's 2024 draft is great. So 25 draft, I'm all in with his style. Running back, QB, defensive tackle, Genty, Curtis Rourke. Um, those are all good options. Really, the way I would love to see it is for us to go quarterback first, and then, you know, I know we need a running game, but we got bigger needs than running game, right? I would love to see us either pick up um, wide receiver, offensive line, or corner, or if there's a really good defensive tackle, because we're about to lose John Jenkins, right? He's already 35, 36. Um, so I would love to see that. Billy, salute, man. Glad you stopped in. I would really love to see that. Castro with the follow, salute. Um, and I think running back needs to get lower on the priority list. I haven't looked at it yet, but I was thinking about it on my drive home, man. That like I wonder if there's a running back that we could pick up in free agency because we got a ton of cap space. We got a ton of cap space. If we got receiver, corner, defensive tackle, offensive line, at least one or two of those through free agency, then I could see, okay, second round, let's go running back. But yeah, I mean, you got to be able to open up a lane for him, right? Lance, we should have got Baker. I don't think Baker Mayfield would have done so good with Luke Getzey. I really don't. I like Baker Mayfield. I think he's got a weird attitude, but besides that, I mean, I'm happy that Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold and there's some of these guys are being able to revitalize their career a little bit. It really makes me wonder if the Cowboys are going to move forward to Trey Lance, man. But I don't follow them too good. California Dave, we've whiffed on almost every first round QB. You know, how long has it been since we drafted a first round QB? How many first round QBs are there really in the last quarter century, man? Not enough. I think that straight up that we need to start drafting a quarterback every year until we land one. I mean, if we pick in the top three and we get a Shador or a Cam Ward, one of these guys, then I might be like, okay, maybe next year don't draft a QB. But then if that dude hasn't shown out in the first 2 years already, draft another one. Draft another, like, just keep going, man. Herman, AP still choosing Minshew again this week over Ritter really made me think he's low key tanking. Yeah, I think that they would love to tank. I don't think that they're trying to win. I think that we could have won against the Dolphins. The game was right there. And then there was the game, it just kind of shifted right there. We were down by 5 points. It's the fourth quarter. It's like we could make a run right here. And then it was like, oh, we fell apart. And was it that we fell apart, or was it like, oh shit, like we're getting too close to winning? Like, pull back, pull back. I don't know. Oh, Jeffrey said it too. I hope we start drafting a QB every draft until we hit. That's what's up, man. Yeah. Herman, that would be such a Raider thing for us to have our worst season this year and still not get our QB. I really wish that we had just lost out last year, right? Like, let's say we lost out last year and Antonio Pierce still gets the job. He goes and gets Jaden Daniels. We get Cliff Kingsbury. Boom, that's a wrap. But we wouldn't have Brock Bowers. And Devontae Adams is looking like crap over there on the Jets. So I think that we jumped ship just in time, and only getting a third looked really awful until he got over there with his boy Aaron Rodgers, and then it's like, dang, we got a third for him? Like, send it. Especially because their record is bad, and over here on Tankathon, they're drafting at number 7. So the 7th pick in the 3rd round doesn't sound too bad, honestly. Ernest, we can possibly land Josh Dobbins. Dobbins is pretty good, man. Dobby. But I don't know. I don't know what route we're gonna go with. Because I would like to see if we picked up a quarterback that high in the draft that we start him. I mean, even if we only win half the games or whatever, it's like we're thirsty for a quarterback. Fortnite is out there. Russell was the last one. Yeah, Jamarcus Russell. And everybody's so afraid of that, man. But we've botched every other first round position too, man. We've had so many failed first round picks over the last decade that's like at that point I don't trust anybody, any of these first round picks until Brock Bowers. So maybe Telesco can clean that up. Yeah, Chicano Outlaw. QB is a high on the must have list for sure. Got a clean house, RSR. Let's see, Jesus, thoughts on alternative uniforms for the Raiders? I think an all-black uniform would be dope. That would be really cool if we busted out an all-black uniform for Black Friday. But maybe they want to turn it into silver on Black Friday. I don't know. We got such an iconic uniform that it's almost like they're intentionally not messing with it. And I understand that. It makes sense to me, man. Let's see, RSR. There's a reason why Brady bought into the team, and that's for sure, right? Because why are you going to go buy a percentage of a football team and then not do everything within your power to go out there and make that team have success, right? Because let's say the Raiders draft a good quarterback, right? We get our coaching shit figured out, whether it's coordinator or head coach, and then all of a sudden we start winning games, right? And we start making a playoff run and all these things, or we go win a Super Bowl in the next couple of years. All of a sudden, that investment that he has made has skyrocketed. So why not do everything that you can to make that happen? And I believe that Brady is going to be able to help Mark Davis with these football decisions because Mark Davis has said it clear out that he does not know what he's doing. Man, let's see. Boo Davis, what number did the Raiders pick at? Right now, Tankathon says we're at number 5. Yesterday, it said that we were at number 4. So I don't know what happened with the Giants. They were behind us. Now they're ahead of us. We got a neck and neck race, man. But still, we got, the Titans and the Jags have to play each other twice. With the best of luck is that the Jags will win the first one, the Titans will win the second one, and they both move behind us, get to the back of the line. We'll see how it goes. Angel, what's up? Let's use the cap space for T. Higgins for wide receiver 1 and draft a QB and wide receiver 3. Right now with wide receiver like T. Higgins, that would be great to pick up T. Higgins, have T. Higgins, Jacoby Myers, Michael Mayer, Brock Bowers, and then Trey Tucker. I trust Trey Tucker to be our wide receiver 3 straight up. And then DJ Turner is good. He's better on special teams, but I trust Trey Tucker to be our wide receiver 3. At that point, then it's like, all right, get a quarterback. We need a running back, maybe an offensive lineman, maybe a corner, get one of these, build on one of these other positions. And then all of a sudden, we're looking like a whole different team. Chicano Outlaw, all I know is these past 30 years have been painful minus the Gannon years. Yeah, man, I've been a fan for 24 years. And Gannon was there when I became a fan, and then it's been pretty dismal and dark ever since, man. Exotic. We should get Aston Genty since Dion said they won't let certain teams draft Shador. Yeah, but Dion said that Vegas was one of the teams that he would allow to draft Shador. He's got a good relationship with Mark Davis, Tom Brady, with AP. I mean, all signs point to Vegas, man. Glow, what do you think about the Broncos? I hate them. Hate the Broncos. I hope the Broncos win on Sunday. It is what it is. I can't root for the Broncos to win, but I'm rooting for us to get a higher draft pick. So I hope the Broncos help us get a higher draft pick. Let's see, Jeffrey. Okay, you made that comment before I said anything. Ernest, go back and check out Telesco's draft strategy in San Diego and LA. He builds very good through the draft. His head coaches sucked, which might be part of why, Mark Davis didn't give Telesco the power to bring in a head coach. So it could be if we end up moving on from AP or if we stay with AP, maybe it's not even going to be Telesco's decision. Maybe it's going to be Brady and Mark Davis are going to make that decision. And then because have already said that, like, they want, I don't know, man. I think that Brady and Mark Davis are going to make the decision at coach, going to make the decision for quarterback, and then let Telesco handle the rest. And that's what it really looks like to me, man. See, California Dave nailed it. Ernest Telesco lets the board fall and gets BPA in the first round. And he does that, man. And I'm glad that he didn't do what Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler did. It was just let's trade away our first draft picks, right? But if he had done that and got Jaden Daniels, I would not be upset. Now, if he had done that and got Michael Penix Jr., I don't think that Michael Penix Jr. is worth trading up for. Now, if he had fallen, I think that he would have gone ahead and got Michael Penix. But since that didn't happen, he held tight. He said, "Ooh, we got Brock Bowers. Boom, send it." Whippersnappers, Stabler, then Plunkett. Yeah, that's before my time, man. That is before my time. Ernest, I feel bad for you young guys. I'm from 1960 to 85 Super Bowls, playoffs every damn year. Spoiled, rotten, but Raider for life. Yeah, man, we don't got it like that, man. Nowadays, we do not got it like that at all. So, we've already been in here for almost an hour, you guys. Talk about Tuesday is about to wrap up. I'm gonna go spend some time with my wife. I my schedule is jumping all over the place. I'm switching jobs right now. I'll try to go live before Sunday again. Just not sure what day. I don't know what day it's gonna be. Um, but I'll try to go live between now and then I will definitely be here for the watch party against the Broncos. And like always, I love you, nation. Um, if you have not yet, please hit that sub, please hit that follow, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.